What's up, beautiful people? Today we're bringing Dr. Arikana back to the channel. Today she's going to be sharing her thoughts, and from the title I can tell it's going to be very interesting. It is titled, France Would Be Nothing Without Africa. Let's get to it.
When you look at just the overall picture for us as Africans, we are disrespected so often. And how we feel on any issue is irrelevant. At least that's the feeling we get. We are exploited, have been for centuries. The exploitation continues. We are taken for granted as Africans, and quite often you can't help but wonder sometimes. And it's not just the US, we're talking in general by other countries. How much of it has to do with the pigmentation in our skin? Because it's done so systematically, and it gets in the way of development on the continent. We have some of the best tourist attractions in the world, and yet we are enjoying just a fraction of the tourism dollars around the globe. And a lot of it has to do with the brush we've been painted with over the years. We are the brightest continent. I would like to think that the sun shines brightest over Africa than anywhere else on earth. And yet we are referred to as the dark continent. Words like that, diseased and dying continent, really? Look at me, do I look diseased and dying, Just outrageous depiction of our beautiful continent that is designed to keep us at a certain place and never allow Africa to take its rightful place on the world stage. To me, that is the most painful thing. And it is such an uphill battle unless we come together as Africans and take a position and say enough is enough. We can no longer continue to tolerate abuse of any kind, in any way, shape, or form from anybody, ally or foe. They will continue to do it. And by they, I mean really the world.
Right, as you point out, other countries, France and other European countries are having similar issues with their immigration policies.
Right, but Africa becomes a playground. We're like a football. They go there to just play and exploit it. I mean, you take, for example, you brought in France. I mean, if Africans, Francophone African countries, were to decide today that all French companies must get out of Africa, that all the monies that are going to France, estimated at hundreds of billions of dollars annually, if all that funding would stop going to France today, France will immediately become the third world country. And Africa no longer needs to be getting aid from anybody.
They have that much entanglement in Africa? That's a lot. The statistic is true about what you just said, hundreds of billions, in such a way that that France will become a third world country, which means the whole economy then is dependent on Africa, either from exploitation or business, but it's highly dependent. That's what she's saying, highly dependent on Africa.
If you look at the billions of dollars France is getting out of Africa every year, and then the fraction that they give back to Africa in the name of aid, out of what I like to call loot. They loot from us at night, and during the day they come back and give us a pittance of the loot in the name of aid. It is a joke. And how we Africans have tolerated this for centuries is sad. But it's not too late. We have got to change this situation. We have got to start benefiting from our God-given natural resources. And yet, if you look at our minerals, we get royalties. French companies swoop into Africa. They bring Frenchmen to come and work in the mines, any industry, in the oil rigs, and we get royalties, 12 to 15%. It's mind-boggling.
Right.
Completely mind-boggling. Well, I have to say, it's not easy being a black person on Earth. I take it even further and say the most endangered species on Earth is a black man.
I kind of doubt that a little bit. Because then if you go around with that mindset, it gives you a victim's mentality. I wouldn't take that mindset, but let's hear her. Maybe I'm just taking her out of context. Let me take it back.
Is a black man. Easy being a black person on Earth. I take it even further and say the most endangered species on Earth is a black man. So when you look at it from that crude reality that we deal with on a daily basis as black people, it is very, very painful. It hurts to think that you can encounter certain situations on a daily basis simply because of the melanin, the quantity of the melanin in your skin. I will give you a simple example. I'm a medical doctor, practiced medicine for 26 years in this country, and I remember pulling up into my parking lot at my office, and there was a car in my parking lot, obviously of someone waiting to be seen by me, but it had a big bumper sticker that said, "Proud to be KKK." And I remember thinking, there is someone who feels that way, who is in my building, waiting to be seen by
a
me.
black woman. Black.
And yet, he still harbors those kind of feelings towards me.
What country is this? I thought she was in Africa. Yeah. Oh, she wasn't practicing in Africa. But that's weird. Proud to be KKK, going to a black woman's hospital or clinic. Okay.
Even though I may walk into a room and say, "Sir, you need to take off your clothes." And I come back 2 minutes later and he's stuck naked. I have that much power over him, and yet he still feels he's better than me, simply because of my melanin. That's a tough one. It's really
that's
a tough pill
crazy
to swallow as we go through this journey that is life as black people on Earth. That's hard. Oh my goodness. We love the United States. We value our relationship with the United States, which is why we would like to see us continue to get better and, like I said, be the BFF that we want America to be. And we hope America will reciprocate and also look at Africa as its BFF. We need each other. We must engage from a point of equality where we can mutually benefit from the relationship without one feeling superior to the other. And unless we can operate from that point of view, the new African is not going to put up with that. And that's something I'm going to do my best to impress to the US government, that we can no longer play this game with the old strategies.
right.
I liken our relationship to a basketball match. You know, when the coach calls his team to the sidelines and they're scribbling on their notepads. I often wonder what they're talking about. But my son then told me, he said, Mommy, they're re-strategizing. We're at a point that America needs to re-strategize, because the game they're playing with Africa is a losing game.
African leaders are changing the strategy regardless. It's like, you won't play with us? Okay, now let's play with Russia. You won't play the way we want? Let's play with China. So it seems like some African leaders are not even waiting for the changing strategy. They are moving on.
And there's need for them to re-strategize, because the new African is saying, not this time.
Right.
Looking forward, what specific steps do you think that both the U.S. and Africa can do to strengthen their relationship, as you say, with the new Africa, and work together? The U.S. is very dependent on a number of African countries to help fight terrorism and to promote economic well-being and prosperity in both continents.
Well, we continue to collaborate effectively. For example, terrorism, as you mentioned, we are collaborating in various areas with the U.S. government. We have a working relationship, don't get me wrong. We have a very good, solid working relationship with the U.S. government. That relationship needs to get better. It needs to continue to be solidified. And we need to get the sense that we are being treated as equals, not only by the United States, but all countries that are engaging Africa. More importantly, the uphill battle is with our former colonial masters. See, the relationship with America is not so difficult in the sense that it's not weighted down by the legacy of colonialism. So we can engage the United States because we feel like they understand what it means to have been colonized. And so that's an easier relationship to manage, which is why I truly believe America and Africa can be the best friends that they are designed to be. And we both parties just have to work at it with similar spirit.
Okay, that was a very interesting point of view. She did state a lot of things that do make sense, and I do agree with her. The relationship between Africa and America, even though it should be good, it's been one-sided over the past years, and we've seen African countries not being patient anymore to straighten it, because where would you speak? You go to the UN, you're not being heard. You go here, you're not being heard. So people are moving on to, structures like BRICS, and where they feel accepted. That's where people are laying their complaints, and we're seeing the relationship with Russia and China grow more, and even the Western nations have been showing some concerns with that relationship, saying, why are you partnering with China? Don't you think China would take over your country? There's been some concerns being shared about the China-Africa relationship, but that's majorly because the US-Africa relationship wasn't growing as it should be. Anyways, let me know what you think about that video. I think it was pretty interesting. She's very knowledgeable, knows what she's talking about. She's been an ambassador and, very well educated. So I think it was a solid interview. If there's anything you want to add, correct, or critique, feel free to do so. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.